Well, back to what you guys are doing with the shirt you bring up. I noticed that they were kind of parody shirts, and
Yeah,
I was thinking about like you and like shirts, and like of course like the Job Squad infamously kind of had the NWO parody shirt,
right,
right?
right.
So like who was were you the one that came up with the idea of like was that always supposed to be the Job Squad thing? You guys like the anti NWO?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, that was kind of like the idea, the Job Squad, which the Job Squad started out as just me being a smart aleck
right,
in the catering, one day, and was with Jim Cornette and, a bunch of the guys. It was during the time when they were all having gangs, like there were the Los Boricuas and, Undertaker had a gang and, you know, everybody had a gang. So it got to the point, really, real life basically copied art, and that in the locker room guys started dividing themselves into groups because you had the clique at that time, and everybody was very resentful and jealous of the clique because they pretty much ran WWF at that time.
yeah,
And there were some people that had kind of lost touch with the business, and they had felt like when they won they really won, and he kind of forgot the etiquette and the respect that's necessary in the wrestling business, and the real reason behind why we shake each other's hands. And they thought when they won, they really won. And I just found that absurd. I just got so frustrated with it. And sitting there with Cornette and, proclaimed that I was going to form my own gang, and of Aldo Montoya, Chris Candido, Barry Horowitz, myself. It was like 5 or 6 guys, and he's like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. What do you?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to call ourselves the Job Squad because And he's like, "What's that going to do?" And I go, "Well, we're the most powerful group here." He goes, "Powerful group here?" I go, "Yeah." I said, "If Undertaker goes out and tombstones Barry Horowitz, and Barry stands up and dusts off his hair and walks out of the ring, who had the power in that match?" I said, so a lot of people take that for granted. So I said, I'm going to remind them. So it started out like that. And then the guys in ECW, when I quit WWE and I went to ECW as a loner,
right,
um, meaning loaned to ECW, not not a loner by myself.
okay,
Um, and the guys there thought it was great, and they kept insisting. They're like, "Oh, you got to make t-shirts. You've got to make t-shirts." So I wanted to be the antithesis of what was the most popular thing at that time that was getting pushed the most, which was the NWO. So I made the very opposite of what you would think would sell, a white t-shirt, and then made the Job Squad logo similar to the NWO, and then put 1, 2, 3 for life on the front, and on the back, pin me, pay me with a chalk outline.
yeah,
And and it went crazy. It just went out of the just insane. All the boys, of course, 1-1, and then at the ECW events, and this was in the infancy of the internet, and thanks to Jeff Jones, who's an amazing guy, set me up with an internet website and stickers and all this stuff to people could order, and it just went crazy. I sold probably more than 3,000 shirts from May to October of that year, just at events and on an infant internet system. So for $25 a shirt back then, it was fantastic. So and then I started creating different designs, and Road Dogg really helped when he wore a Property of Job Squad t-shirt out on TV on Raw. He somehow wore it out there, and then people saw it, and it went even crazier. So it was a fun and great time. I was very blessed that it worked like it did.
man, that's so cool, dude. I don't know that I've ever heard the origin story of the Job Squad, and like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of gave it some cool detail there because a lot of people, I'm sure they remember the Click and BSK, but was the Job Squad? Were you guys like actually tight? Were you guys like a crew that, you know?
No, no, because it's not real. I mean, it's just
I don't no,
that's why I made it, was because guys were making up real gangs in the locker room.
okay.
And I'm like, well, then I'm going to make up mine. I'm going to, and I'm going to show them how ridiculous this whole thing is. So I'm going to put everybody together that, gets beat on a regular basis or semi-regular basis. And, we'll see who holds the real power in the locker room.
It kind of takes out a different meeting when you get Mick involved, I would think, right? Because like he was such a big guy that had won so many things at that point. For him to kind of
Yeah.
associate with you all, I'm sure was, I mean, again, considering that this is just a thing you made up and we're kind of playing with, that's got to be quite a moment when you're standing in the ring at the hottest time in wrestling, and then like, boom, your idea is fully flushed out and clicking with everybody out there.
Yeah, it was, if they had taken it like they were starting to take it that direction, where like we were a group of rebels fighting against the cause, and Mick was part of it too, because he didn't, it was kind of like the island of misfit toys type of thing. I think it would have worked, it would have resonated, but then I think they saw the potential for it, because we had that one run-in with Mick in the ring, and then they shifted the idea over to DX. So
so you think that like the Job Squad really kind of helped kind of usher in what would be DX? You guys were.
Well, I think the idea of of somebody rebelling against the the standard, against the establishment type of thing.
Well, and you think about Nexus and all the other groups that came after that. I think you could kind of put into that same vertical there is the Job Squad. That's really cool, man. I love the Job Squad, man. I thought it was